Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of Tactical Tips
Technical tips
with Jeff.
in St. George. Lucas here. We're in the same location at the same time. Not a convention. It's pretty
Holy
crazy.
cow. And so it's brought to you by the Independent Dealer Podcast. That's us. And also our friends at Neo. Jeff,
Yep.
you use Neo?
I do. I started with them a couple months ago. Great company for underwriting. It just standardizes the process. We don't have to worry about guessing or filling out some silly little rubric that could be cheated.
It could be cheated.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about guessing. We also don't probably have to worry about being sued because we decided that one person was better than the other person by just the way they look. So I think it's a great thing. Neo has helped us. It will help you. Underwriting is so important in our business. So use Neo, get it done. All right, Jeff, lines of credit.
Yeah.
You know anything about lines of credit?
I know a little bit. I've had one. I've been in and out of some. They're tough to get. They're tough to keep.
But you got to have one,
sometimes
right?
they're crucial.
You got to have one. So these are a couple tips just to say, hey, this is what we need to do to get it going because you got to have one.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. Number one, you got to get your financials in order. And a lot of people out there that need lines of credit, unfortunately, are not, I'm not going to say smart enough, but haven't had the time to do everything they need to do to present it to someone. So we got to have that right?
Yeah. Typically, when you're going out looking for a line of credit or you decided you need one, you're probably pretty new in the business, right? So you're pretty new in keeping your financials. You might not have a real sophisticated bookkeeping process.
Yeah.
So if you're just going to hand over a QuickBooks file to your banker and you haven't been through it or your accountant hasn't been through it smooth, good luck. They're going to poke a ton of holes and it's going to cause problems. So the first thing is use a good accountant. Make sure you're keeping really tight books.
And some people may not even have QuickBooks. They may walk into the banker's office and dump a bunch of receipts on those things. That won't work, right?
Yep. And you also got to look at the way you're optimizing your dealership. If you're optimizing for low cash flow, low taxes, that's not always attractive to a bank.
That would be a problem.
So be prepared to run your dealership in a way, first off, that you might want to go get a line of credit.
And number two, interview several lenders. Don't go with the first person that says, here's some money, because it might not be the best deal, right?
Yep.
Crucial. So Primalend's sponsored podcast, I would say go talk to them as well. Local banks, anybody you can think of, just go interview because the more you interview, just like a job interview, the better you're going to get at it, right?
Yeah. And part of our tactical tip this week is to do it before you need it.
Oh my God.
Go out there and call banks. Local banks are really the best ones to go to, in my opinion. Regional or city banks that you can go and just meet with the commercial lender, take him to lunch, pick his brain. Do this months or even years before you actually need to hit him up for money, because then you've built that relationship with him. You know who to call on. Because if you're just calling cold, trying to find someone, and then you're hitting them up for a line of credit, either backed by subprime auto loans or something else, they're going to laugh you out of the building.
They will. Number three, and not everybody's in this situation, but the best way to get a line of credit is to use your property that you have equity in. And I know some people out there may not have property they have equity in, but if you do, you need to use it because that's your stepping stone. Every bank in the world will lend on real estate.
Yes, they all want collateral. They love real estate because they understand real estate. They understand value liquidations. They don't understand subprime auto loans or some other situation. So if you own the land you're on and you have equity, if you own a house and you're willing to put that up, if you own rental property, if you have some other collateral that they're willing to take. I know, some of the guys we've interviewed just put money up into a CD.
Chad ran that.
And they borrowed against that. So there's a lot of creative options that you can get into.
Because typically, especially if you have a little bit of cash, they will 3 or 4 times X that cash. So always, if you got equity, use it. Mm-hmm. Number 4, and I really shouldn't say this, but don't over leverage yourself. Once you get that line of credit, use it prudently, because if not, it can eat you out of house and home and put you out of business.
Yeah, LOC, it's a line of credit. They like to see it revolve.
That's right.
Very few banks in the world don't understand, you're not going to be able to return principal to me for 2 to 3 years because you're doing auto loans. That's not really how a lot of banks talk. They want to see a revolving line of credit that you maybe tap during tax time.
Yep.
And all of a sudden you take out half of it and then you pay it back within the next couple of months. So be prepared that if you're not revolving it, they're going to get a little bit nervous because they don't understand the world.
And one thing some banks may want you to do is to lock it in after a certain amount. So they'll give you a line of credit and then they may peel some of it off into a traditional loan, amortize it, and then you pay it back. So these are little tactics you can use to not over leverage yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The last thing is, and this is not something that we've even thought about for the last 10 years, but guess what, y'all? Interest rates can go up. And when they do, your cost of that money goes way up.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people looked at it and said, sure, I can make this thing pencil at 3% interest, prime plus a point, with prime was 0. They had really, really great interest rates and it made sense. Have you calculated for worst case scenario? Have you calculated for 9, 10, 11
when prime is,
interest rates?
When prime is sitting at 8 and it's going to probably move another 100 basis, that's a big number, y'all. Yeah. So make sure you prepare for these things. Get yourself a line of credit if you need it. If you don't have it and then you need it, you're in trouble. So get your financials in order, get your line of credit, and use it brilliantly.